Have you ever wondered if you have the right credit cards for you, or have you ever wanted to know how you could fly business class to Europe in lie flat seats without spending more than a couple $100s? If this is something that you're interested in, you'll want to tune in today. Today, I am sitting down with the queen of credit card hacking, the queen of knowing every single thing about business travel, what cards you should have, what cards you shouldn't have, what is the newest, latest, greatest, best card on the market, Sanam. And we are talking all the things. She's telling us about some of the best deals that she's scored flying to Bali, to South Korea, all over the world for literally no money, all with credit card points. And I am so lucky to have her as a best friend and get to leverage her and all of her smarts in this category whenever I want. But I felt like I was being selfish and I wanted to share with you guys. So today we are telling you all the details, and we're breaking it down to like which credit card you should have based off of where you spend your money. So by the end of this episode, you will know exactly like, okay, these are the credit cards I should have, and this is how I should start learning how to use them and how to travel. With that, let's go ahead and dive in.
Welcome to Monday through Sunday. I'm Logan.
I'm Sanam.
And I'm Lane. We're best friends, the founders of Blossom Brands, and the hosts of this podcast.
We can't wait to take you behind the scenes of running a 7-figure agency with our best friends.
We're sharing our mistakes, our lessons learned, and giving you tactical advice to build the career, the business, and the relationships you dream of, and a life you don't need a weekend to escape from.
So let's get balanced and let's get down to business. Welcome to the show. All right. Well, today I am here with the queen of credit cards and credit card hacking and travel hacking and the like pro at figuring out how to have lay flat seats and be in business class without paying a penny. So Sanam Ghanaian. I'm so excited to talk about all things credit cards. I know we've talked about this in the past. And honestly, as we mentioned earlier, I have no memory. So I don't even remember like half the things you've taught me in the past. And that's why every time I go to book a trip, I have to like refresh my brain and be like, Sanam, what do I need to know about this again? So I am lucky enough to have you as my best friend to always like chit chat about when I need it. But today we're going to be sharing with everybody else because I think that this is just like a hack that like people should learn in school. Like, why don't we learn how to use credit cards and how to like make them work for us? And like, why did I have a debit card for so long without knowing I needed a credit card? So these are just like things that I feel like must be spoken about. So we are here to speak about them today.
I am so excited to get into this. This is one of my favorite topics ever because I live for a good credit card hack. Like I love living above my means without having to financially pay above my means. Like it honestly is such a great hack to life. And credit cards afford us these amazing opportunities. And I feel like a lot of people, most people in this country don't know how to use them properly, don't know how to maximize on all their points. And like all the redemptions that they do use, if they're using them, aren't up to, I would say, the maximum value that they could be extracting from their credit card. So I've gone through all the trials and tribulations of credit card hacking, credit card research, credit card understanding. The points guy is truly my favorite person on this planet. I actually met him in person with you, Lane, in Dallas.
Yes.
At the Claudia Oshry show.
That was good times.
Very good times. And so there's a lot that I've learned and gathered along the way. And now I am like the go-to guru for literally everyone in my family, most of my friends, and in fact, I just got 50,000 extra Capital One bonus points this week because 2 friends used my referral code for Capital One Venture X cards, which I will get into is one of my favorite cards ever.
Well, that's actually where I want to start. I first off just want to know, like, okay, first off, like, what was the first credit card you ever had? And then, like, where are you now? Where has your credit card journey gone? And what is your current lay of the land?
So the first credit card I ever got was when I was 18, and that was a free Wells Fargo credit card that I still have to this day. Mm-hmm. Do I use it? Absolutely not. I only keep it open for the interest of credit and because there's no annual fee. So there's no harm in having it open. Yeah. And there's no reason to close it because when you are building credit, this is like a whole other tangent that obviously I can't speak to, but just like a 1-sentence overview. When you're building credit, it's all about just maintaining an open line of credit for a very long time.
So you never want to close your credit card.
You never want to close like especially your first few credit cards
that don't cost you really any money, especially like normally people kind of get a free first one.
Yes. I've closed credit cards before though, and it's totally fine to do that. You just don't want to do it frequently.
Okay. Got it.
Tangent.
Fun fact, my first credit card was the Venture that I like accidentally got the wrong one. Do you remember?
Oh, the Venture one.
Yeah.
You meant to get the venture.
Okay. Yeah. And I accidentally got the free one, which was actually like great because it was my first, I think it was my first credit card. Did I have a credit card before that? I don't know, but I don't think so. But that, like, to me, I'm like, okay, what year was that? That was after I knew you. That was once I like had already worked for a year and like had been using a credit card till I was in my like early 20s.
You were using a debit card.
Or yeah. Why didn't I, when I was spending money on a debit card throughout college and like my first job, like, why didn't I have a credit card? Dad, tell me, why did you not tell me to get a credit card?
Get Randall on the phone right now.
Randy, like, you've always geared me in the right direction in these things, and I feel let down.
I can just picture him saying, well, sweetie. Elaine's dad is an angel of a man.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
He really is. So everyone goes through their own credit card journeys. I would say right now, my credit card journey is very different.
Okay, so if someone is listening and they don't have a credit card, they've never had one, they still are on their debit card living, they pay cash for everything. What credit card would you say if they're just looking for a good free one just to like start their line of credit? What one would you recommend?
I honestly think the Capital One Venture One card is a great starter card, and that's for a few reasons. A, it's 1.25 on every purchase, because generally speaking, we're going to get into the categories that you want to take inventory of, like, where are you investing in and how can you get cards to support those categories.
Okay.
So for any card that you choose that's free, they'll typically be like, oh, you can spend on this category and a little bit more to spend on this category. But for someone's first card, I would not worry about any of the specific categories that you're spending and just get one baseline.
Yeah, especially if you don't know which categories you really spend money on. If you don't have a credit card, it's probably not something you're tracking right now. If you're just getting started with like financing and stuff in general. So that's a good one because you don't have to be like, oh, do I spend more on gas than I spend on groceries? Do I spend more on travel than I spend on food and dining out? And so if you don't know those things, like, I think that that's a good tip to just like get something that's going to get you more than one across the board on everything.
And one thing that I like about Capital One is that the portal is so user friendly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of portals. Like, I feel like the Chase one is fine, but it's not as user friendly. I know Chase is a really sensitive topic for you, but like the Capital One portal is so straightforward. It's so direct. And so just get in the habit of using your credit card, paying off your credit card, and then from there, understanding where you spend and like what categories, and then adjust.
Yes. Pay off your credit card. Do not get credit card debt.
Yeah. This conversation can't happen unless you're paying off your credit cards.
Agreed. Like, if you can't spend more than you'd be spending on your debit card on your credit card. Okay. I want to take a step back for a second because we've talked a lot about it. Like, oh, this is worth 1.25. This is worth 1.5. Can you just like explain exactly like what that means to someone that's like, what are you talking about?
Yes. Great question. So every credit card, anytime you spend money, you get points in exchange for the money that you're spending.
And what can you do with those points?
So those points afford you many opportunities. From like the basic standpoint, you can redeem them for gift cards. So let's say if you have 100,000 points, you can redeem it for $1,000 gift card, those types of things where it's like a straight one-to-one Amazon gift card for your points. Or you can redeem it for travel experiences. So that way you can either book travel in the platforms or you can transfer your points to a transfer partner. Like, let's say I want to transfer my Chase points to KLM and I want to book a flight from LAX to Amsterdam. Or you can do what Capital One has, which is called a purchase eraser, where you can go in to your existing credit card statement and say, I want to use my points to erase this purchase, which is what Lane and I notoriously have done in the past. So there's different ways to use your points, but your points are basically another form of currency that your credit cards are giving you in exchange for how much you're spending. And a lot of credit cards have different categories that will earn you more points. So let's say if you spend on food or dining, maybe the Chase will give you 3 times points. Maybe the Amex will give you 4 times points. There's a lot of different ways that you can hack the system to earn more points and therefore build a digital currency without necessarily paying for it directly.
So basically, the benefit of having a credit card is that you're spending money the way you would on a debit card, but by doing it from credit and paying off your credit card, you get access to all these points that you can do free things with, basically.
Yeah.
Love that. And so basically, like, everybody should be doing that. If you're spending money, you should be spending money on a credit card.
Yes, especially if you're an adult, you should not be using your debit card anymore. Unless you really have had struggles with paying off your credit card.
Yeah.
Then by all means use your debit card. But every adult should be building credit with their credit cards and making sure they're using their credit cards properly, which we'll get into.
Okay. So one quick question on that. How many credit cards do you think any person should have, and what should they know about the credit cards that they do have?
I think every person should honestly have a minimum of 2 credit cards. If you're skilled and advanced with credit cards, by all means, you can have so much more. Like I have so many, but I think for the average person, everyday person, 2 is plenty. That way you're hitting on at least 2 of your main core categories when it comes to spending. So take inventory of what you spend your money on. Like I remember I thought, hey, I'm spending so much money on food, I should get this card. But then when I actually looked at the majority of my spending, it was on the other category, which I would define my categories to be food and dining being one category, travel in another, and then other. So basically your everyday Target purchases of the world.
Yeah. So basically a lot of credit cards have different categories that you get more points for spending in.
Yeah.
So if I have a credit card that says I get 3 times the points on travel. So anytime I buy a flight, I get 3 times more points to use towards something than any other purchase, which I'd only get 1 point for. So
Correct.
basically you should have multiple credit cards that have
Different
higher point
benefits.
value in different categories. So one maybe for dining,
Mhm.
one for travel, one for groceries. So like you shouldn't have 2 credit cards that have the same
benefits.
And then you should strategically use the card for those purchases that has the higher value.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to play a game. So I'm going to categorize people into a couple different like groups, and I want you to tell me what credit card you think would be the most beneficial for them based off of like which group they fall into.
Fun.
Have you ever wondered what's in your tampon? I know I did. When I first read the ingredients on the back of the box of the brand I was using, I was shocked at what I was putting into my body. Lola was founded on the principle that women should know exactly what materials they are putting into their bodies. Lola offers a range of period and sexual wellness products designed with you in mind. No mystery ingredients, no toxins, no dyes, all gynecologist approved. For flows that ebb and flow, Lola's best-selling compact plastic applicator tampons are made with 100% organic cotton and come in a wide range of absorbencies, from light to super plus, so you can customize to suit your individual needs. And for those looking to bring a little oomph to the bedroom, Lola has you covered with sex essentials designed for peace of mind. In fact, Lola is the only sexual wellness line approved by gynecologists, including natural condoms, hypoallergenic lube, and much more. As someone who used to be perpetually unprepared for my period, having my tampons delivered every month has been a total game changer. No more frantic dashes to the pharmacy. With Lola, I always have the perfect absorbencies at my fingertips, ensuring my period is no mess, no stress. Ready to level up your period game? Head to mylola.com now and use code MONDAY for an exclusive 20% off your order. Happy Women's History Month!
All right. So first, just I think starting basic, someone that would say, I'm just kind of like everyday purchaser. I don't really know where I fall into like what categories. I just, live my life and there's no real trend, or I don't know what my trend is.
I think if it is a basic person who is just starting out with credit cards but is not needing this free credit card, I would say get the Capital One Venture because you get 2 miles on everything. I think every person at minimum should be getting 2 miles on everything. And Capital One is one of the very few credit cards companies that gives you 2 miles on everything, starting at their Venture and then their Venture X. Now, if this person is like a little bit more curious about how to be more advanced and wants to reap a little bit more benefits, but still have one card, the Venture X, which is the Venture's big sister that's a little bit more luxe. It has an annual fee of $395, but honestly, it is one of the best cards. And when it comes to all of the benefits that you get, the net difference between the Venture X versus the Venture is very nominal.
Yeah, because isn't this right that for that one, like even though you pay $395 every year, you get $100 or $250 back on any travel purchases. So as long as you spend $250, you're kind of like netting that number down to like $200.
Actually, $300.
$300. Okay.
So it's basically a net $95, and the Venture is also a $95.
So if you're going to spend $300 in travel in the year, like it just makes sense to go with the one that's better.
And can I tell you why Venture X is truly one of the best cards on the market?
Please.
Okay, outside of obviously Capital One having such an easy portal to use, the getting $300 travel credit, and then you get 10,000 points annual, like just as like a bonus. Every year that you renew, they give you 10,000 points, which is extremely generous. And then when you book hotels through the Capital One travel platform, you get 10x the points. When you book flights through the Capital One platform, you get 5x the points. So yes, you get 2x on everything. But when you want to extend it to travel, as long as you book through Capital One Travel, which is very straightforward and they price match, your point building opportunities is exponentially higher.
Okay, got it. All right, next category.
Yes.
All right, the foodie tradwife home
Homebody.
homebody.
I'm so proud of you.
Aren't you proud of me for knowing that trend?
How did you know that? Did Grace tell you?
No, Jackie Oshry talks about it on the toast all the time.
Oh my
They've
God,
been talking about it so much. And
I'm
but
obsessed.
I actually I think it's fun to follow those gals.
Okay, great. That's my girl.
Anyways, so like homebody, loves to cook, loves to bake, just like really in their like home living routine. What's the card for that gal?
Okay, same thing. I'm going to break it out into 2 categories. For the person that's like not wanting to be super savvy about credit cards, not wanting to have like a crazy credit card fee, I would recommend the Capital One Savor One card. The Capital One Savor One card gives you 3% on dining and grocery, which is great.
Okay.
It's still higher than like most cards will give you.
This is the gal that's like spending a lot on groceries. Like that's their thing. They love to go to Whole Foods. They love to buy the best of the best of their produce, and that's like where they're spending their money.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not complicated. It's very straightforward. A very low annual fee, but the best card on the market for grocery, as deemed by the points guy and every credit card guru out there, is the Amex Gold. You get 4 times points on dining and grocery. Let me tell you how important that is, specifically for grocery. A lot of cards will give you dining points, but dining points does not transfer over to grocery. A lot of the tradwife girlies are spending a lot at the grocery stores, but they're only getting 1 times point, which is literally tragic. We want to make sure, A, we're at least getting 2 times. So that's where your Capital One Venture or Venture X would come in. But if you want to be optimizing your dining and grocery purchases, that's where the American Express Gold comes in, and you get 4 times points on every single grocery purchase. It's a $250 annual fee. And also you get like little benefits here, like $10 to Uber a month, $10 to places like Shake Shack a month. Like you will get your use and benefits out of it, but 4 times on grocery is huge.
Okay,
Highly
so the
recommend.
foodies and the tradwives, Amex Gold.
Amex Gold.
Got it.
Do you want me to get a little bit nuanced?
Sure.
If you still want to have like the benefits of like a food category, but don't want to pay the annual fee of $250, the Capital One Savor card, excellent. You get 4% on dining, but it's only a $95 fee.
Okay, got it. All right, moving on. So now I have 2 different traveler buckets that I want you to help with. So first, the efficient traveler. So somebody that just wants to like go and like see the world as much as they can for like as low of a cost as possible. And then the other being the luxe traveler, the person that wants to travel and like every time they do travel, they want to ball out and like have the best travel experience they can possibly have.
So the efficient traveler, Chase Sapphire preferred all the way.
Okay.
For the super luxe traveler, Amex Platinum. And I rarely recommend that unless, again, it's a super luxe traveler.
Okay.
But for the Chase Sapphire preferred, for example, it's like a very low annual fee. It's $95, which is just so straightforward and I think really good for generally people. You also get $50 in hotel credit. So like that instantly becomes $45. Very straightforward for that efficient traveler. You get $200 to different partners for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and you get 5 times on hotels. 5 times on hotels is a very healthy number. And then generally speaking, outside of that, 2 times on travel, 3 times on dining, you're really set with everything you need as an efficient traveler with a Chase Sapphire Preferred.
Okay, how about the person that's like out and about, they're dining out, they're going out to the clubs, they're like spending money at like all the places. Is that the same as the foodie person that's spending at groceries, or is there a different one for that gal?
Same as foodie. I would still say Amex Gold all the way.
Okay, cool.
But if you want to simplify it between travel and doing that, the Chase Sapphire Preferred honestly is great.
Okay, lastly, the Luxe Traveler.
The Luxe Traveler, Amex Platinum. Now, Amex Platinum, I do not typically recommend on the daily because like that fee is upwards of $800 a year, which is monstrous, as you can imagine. It obviously comes with like a slew of benefits. Like people joke that it's like the coupon book of like 2024, which is like funny because there's so many little side benefits here that you have to make the most of. But generally speaking, why Amex Platinum is great is because it has a proprietary program called Fine Hotels and Resorts. When you use Fine Hotels and Resorts, you get access to tons of benefits. So if I book a hotel through Amex's platform, which I've gone with people in the past that have booked those reservations, and you instantly get an upgrade. You get like a $200 resort credit, and then you get free daily breakfast, which is probably equal to $45 a person. So there's a lot of benefits. One can also argue that you can get similar benefits from a travel agent, but if you just want the same straightforward, easy to book yourself
without
and
having to
consistently
work with someone else
and consistently going on Lux Travel, the Amex Platinum is really great for that.
All right. Noted. Got it. So if you're like, I don't know, these kind of all sound like me, or I fit into a lot of these buckets, I would say go back and look at your credit card statements from the past 3 months, even up to 12 months, and look at what categories you actually are spending your money in and see. And like, maybe you think that you fall into one category, but really like your spending habits differ. So go ahead and analyze that. And then like make sure that the credit card you have or any credit card you're looking at is the most effective for really like where it is you're spending your money. So now that we've talked about really like all the different types of credit cards, what type of credit card you should have based off of how you're spending your money, I want to get into some travel hacks and how to use your credit cards to like book travel and also to like really like hack the system and get the best money for your travel.
The best way to make your points stretch is when you transfer it to transfer partners. Do you know what transfer partners are?
I want you to like really like explain that in a lot of detail because I think I've heard you talk about this so many times. And until I like got on screen share with you and like had you walk me through how to do this, it was like another language to me and I just didn't get it. So for someone that's like, okay, I'm getting these points and basically I'm just redeeming in the platform for like whatever it shows me. Basically what Sanam is saying is like, don't do that. Use your points in other ways to transfer it to other parties, third-party sites, and then redeem your points there for more points. So Sanam, like, tell me exactly how you do that and when you should do that.
Okay. So what a transfer partner is that every single credit card has partners they work with. And these partners include airlines and hotels. And typically it allows you to transfer your points to said airline or said hotel loyalty program. So let's say I have my American Express credit card and it has a transfer partnership with Air France. And then I go on Air France's website and I'm just looking at deals on flights, whatever. I see that this flight is $6,000, but then instead I look at it in points value. Maybe instead of $6,000 in cash, it's 30,000 in points. And then I go in and I connect my American Express to my Air France account. There's a very clear transfer portal where you're able to just input your loyalty number. And then it's an instantaneous transfer. And then I go look on airfrance.com and I see that flight that was $6,000, that is 30,000 points. I buy it with the 30,000 points instead. And it saves me a significant amount of money because that 30,000 points is worth $300 versus the $5,000 of the flight.
And a lot of times the 30,000 points was really less points in the original location. So in Capital One, where you might be transferring points to, that might have actually only been 10,000 points, but maybe they had a transfer deal where you could transfer 10,000 points here and get 30,000 points at Air France for those 10,000 points. So not only can you use your points to get better travel, but sometimes like you can find deals where like your points have a higher value elsewhere.
Correct. So basically, different transfer partners every single month based on the credit card will have rotating offers. So sometimes you'll have a 25% transfer bonus. So like Lane said, you don't need to actually transfer 30,000 points. You can transfer significantly less and you will still get that 30,000 point value in your Air France account. So that is a way to make your points stretch from 1 to 10. Whereas typically if you're using it in the platform, it's 1 to 1. 1 to 1 isn't bad, but when you are able to transfer it to 1 to 10 value, that's so much more.
Okay. So say that I am like, okay, next year, I really want to plan a big abroad trip. I want to go to Greece or I want to go to Paris. Like tell that person like where should they start? What should they do first to be able to like get that trip and have a lie flat seat and like not spend $1 on it?
Okay. So what I would do is I always recommend people to use the website point.me. There's a $5 charge to use it for 24 hours, but it's so worth it because you find all these.
Point.me? You haven't even told me about this before.
Oh, I thought it was an article I sent you like a year ago.
The article that you sent me. Do you think that I like read things? I just tell you to tell me the highlights.
This is true. This is true. Noted.
Okay. Points.me. Continue.
Point.
Point.me. Continue.
Yes, point.me is honestly one of the best gifts to society because back when I was first redeeming for points, I would scour and make loyalty logins for every single airline and look to see what redemption values were available. Now point.me exists. So I pay $5. I input where I'm going, what my dates are, and you can select if I just want to look at business and first class, and it will show you all of the flight options and what their corresponding point value is, and then what corresponding credit cards work for those programs. Like, let's say if it says Singapore Air, this is 128,000 points. You can use this on American Express, Chase, Capital One, and Bilt. And like, it'll tell you which credit cards are available. So you can also filter out, like, I only want to see Capital One partners. I only want to see American Express partners.
Okay. So basically, like, you can go on there and be like, here's kind of where I want to go. And I want to use the points that I have on this credit card, and it'll show you what's available.
Exactly. It's super handy.
Okay. So I want to actually hear about some of your travel hack trips, where you've gone, what you've been able to get, the best deals that you've got by doing this.
Okay. By far, the deal that I'm most proud of, which I will never be able to replicate ever again, was I got 90,000 points round trip, not just one way, round trip, LAX to Athens, Greece, with a stopover in Istanbul for 90,000 points on Turkish Air.
Business class lie flat seats.
Yeah. And for context, that is the equivalent of $900.
And tell me how much that seat, if you were to buy it, how much do you think that would have cost?
It was going for between $3,500 and $4,500.
I would have expected more than that.
I know.
So, wait, like round trip?
Yeah, Turkish Air had a good deal. I remember.
Okay. Well, wow. That's still, you saved what,
$90,000
$5,000
points. Insane. Most recently, I went to Korea for 150,000 points round trip, direct, lie flat on Asiana Air. Amazing experience. That trip was going for 7,500 round trip, and I got it for the equivalent of 1,500.
Equivalent of 1,500, but those were all points that were just benefits from other dollars you spent. So really, like, you didn't spend any money on it.
Correct.
We love to see it.
And then I just booked my Bali trip this week. And on my flight back, I booked Singapore Air, which is one of the 2023's top rated airline.
Oh, interesting.
Singapore to LAX direct, which is a 16-hour flight, I believe. Okay. And that ticket was going for 5,000 one way. And I got that for 107,000 points, which is the equivalent of basically $1,070.
Wow.
Insane.
Will you ever fly not business class again abroad?
For more than 5 hours? I don't know if I can do it because, like, I did it one time during COVID and not with points. Like, it was just like I booked the ticket to be premium economy. It was when I was going to Vietnam with my aunt. And then, like, or American Airlines had this deal of like pay 15,000 points and $500 to get lie flat. And so I did. And it was life-changing from then on out. And I was like, I can never fly economy for more than 5 hours at a time. I also just booked my flight to Bali last night. So I just booked LAX with a layover in Taipei to then go to Bali, and it's super efficient timing. And honestly, my Chase Sapphire Reserve points helped me because every single transfer partner did not have good deals. And so I was really stressed out that I was going to have to pay like upwards of like 300,000 points for like taking 3 flights and just like, I don't know. But I knew this trip I was going to have to use a lot of my points because LAX to Bali is so far. It's literally across the world. It takes more than one full day to get there. But then luckily my Chase points came in clutch because I had about 230,000. And so when I went in platform, that 230,000 points was worth significantly more because of the 1.5x value that Chase Sapphire Reserve points get you.
My brain is spinning. You're going too deep. I have no idea what you're saying.
Anyways, it just saved my day, but I won't get into that.
Sanam, do you have an action item to leave the audience with today?
Yes, it's to take inventory of where you spend your money and to understand what categories are seeing the most love in terms of spending. And then from there, you'll be able to identify which credit cards suit your spending habits best. There's also one card that I didn't mention that I do feel like deserves a shout out. Can I give a quick shout out?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I feel like if you're a frequent Whole Foods shopper, like you are just loyal to Whole Foods and a frequent Amazon shopper, the Amazon card is great because you get 5% cash back on Amazon and Whole Foods, which is great.
We also didn't really talk about loyalty cards for airlines, but right now I feel like that is my priority. I like want to have the highest what's it called? The highest loyalty with
The highest
American
tier.
Yeah, the highest tier of loyalty with American Airlines that I can have because it's all I travel. And for me right now, especially with like about to be traveling with children and babies, like I'm like, I just want travel to be as easy and as seamless and as luxury as it can be. So I'm like spending all of my money on my American Airlines credit card. I don't even know which one I had. Maybe Sanam can tell the peeps which one. You don't know which one I have? Okay, weird.
No.
Anyways,
weird.
I feel like you know everything about me. I figured you'd know what credit cards I
usually
have.
do, but I don't know why I
now
can't
American
remember.
Airlines made it where you can you get points just from the money that you spend. Normally it was like you can't get certain points towards loyalty. You could only get them towards like travel, but now they count towards loyalty. So every dollar I spend, well, some are only one versus others are 2 or 3, it still goes towards my loyalty. So if you want to increase your loyalty with a specific airline that you always fly, check out which credit cards that airline specifically has to build your loyalty points.
Love it.
Well, I know that this was a little bit of like a hefty topic and like a lot of numbers and a lot of things, but we will definitely simplify this for you. We will post on our stories what type of credit card you should get based off of what category that you fall into. And also feel free to drop a comment on our latest Instagram with the card that you have. Ask us a question if it's the right card for you, what considerations that you have about why you think that you might want to switch. And we will send you a note and let you know our thoughts. And by we, I mean Sanam.
I hope this was helpful and not too crazy, though I feel like it was kind of crazy. So if you have any questions, shoot us a DM.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Monday through Sunday. If you're building a career, a business, or any relationships, we know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it with us.
With that in mind, we would be so grateful if you can spare 2 minutes to rate and review this podcast. Your reviews help spread the message to more people that work doesn't have to suck.
By the way, if you're looking for your community, join us on Instagram and TikTok at Monday through Sunday Pod. We're all about connecting our like-minded listeners together. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about by sending us a DM. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you again, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.